right now.
Yep. Gonna do this kind of awkward little intro that we're doing. Make sure it's all live. If we're
Uh,
live, hello everybody. We're just make sure you share this. We got a great
we're
episode
on.
for you guys today. We are on. Just gonna quickly share it. Yep, share
Got it. It's on
this.
YouTube.
Yep, we're just making sure everything is good to go. Share to the group. Oh, I hear myself. Yep, we're just. Alrighty. How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of Crush This Live. And hey, Cheech is back. Cheech is back on, after last week's kind of awkward episode with just me. Cheech is in the process of moving. This is actually his last day at his current residence. He's going to be at a new place tomorrow. So, Cheech, what's going on, man?
Exactly what you said. Just got done actually do some RC racing over at Sugar King. Shout out to those guys. I know a few of them will probably be watching this, but did all right. Had to deal with gremlins all yesterday. Not even out on first in racing on my pro mod. I put my tire on and broke a little. I kind of over tied in one of my spindles, I guess, and one wheel came off, but put the part back on, and then I had electrical issues left and right. It kind of sucked, but for what happened, I did all right, so I can't complain about that. And I'm just trying to readjust because freaking this. I got this new table stand that's more wobbly than anything else. But how about you? How's it going? I heard you're gonna try next week and Joey's Outlaw Dragger League. So watch out, look at that too.
Yep. Well, you took my truck Riptide out for a spin there a little while ago. We didn't have the Crush This truck ready yet. There will be another version of the Crush This truck soon. I'm getting a Dodge body made specifically for Dan. I'm actually paying somebody to get it made, so there you go. I'm going to be piloting the Crush This truck in the Outlaw Virtual Monster Truck Drags. Can't wait. I'm very excited. Blake Granger, I'm coming for you, buddy. I'm going to beat you in freestyle. I said that on Instagram. I'm going to do it. Been practicing with the wheel. I can't wait. And actually, the guy that we're going to be talking with today was doing some commentary and stuff last night. For that, why don't we just bring him in? He is the driver of the Overkill Evolution Monster Truck. Ladies and gentlemen, also the guy that behind V2 Vids, Mikey Vaters Jr. How's it going, Mikey?
What's going on, guys?
How's everything going for you right now up in Ontario there?
Not too bad. Beautiful day up here in Ontario. Sun's, the spring's starting to bloom, blossom. Birds are chirping. Cup of coffee. Having a great day. Glad to be here.
Well, it's funny when
Nice.
we were chatting a little bit before this. Cheech was like, "We got a guy from the States, a guy that lives in Canada, a guy from the States that lives in Canada."
Yeah, messed up situation we got here.
Hey, it'll make it easier for my certain question I always have to ask at the end.
What's that? Sorry, I'm going to be glitching a little bit.
No worries. There's a certain question I always have to ask at the very end. Well, I'll ask it now. Might as well get into it. So I always have to ask this: Dunkin' Donuts or Tim Hortons?
Tim Hortons.
Yes.
And you're okay. There you go.
Well,
See,
yes!
the crazy thing is he can say that because he lives in both. But I guess let's go backwards here, Brad.
Definitely the way to go, Tim Hortons.
So we got to ask him the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the other one.
There's got.
Should we ask Brandon's question still, or because he knows Brandon, Mr. Culpepper?
I'm not good
sure.
With,
why not?
Not good with names.
We're just gonna ask the questions and get it over with.
Okay, so our buddy Brandon Culpepper Sr. He always this has been since day one. What is your favorite kind of pie?
Pie?
Yes, like dessert pie, whatever kind of pie.
Well, pie. I don't know. There's not a huge pie fan. I mean, I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, cheesecake would be my ultimate favorite. I don't think that counts.
No, it's kind of a pie. It's kind of pie shaped, even though it's cake.
Let's say apple with ice cream.
Apple with ice cream.
There we go.
All right, chalk that one down. That's been the day one question since Brandon asked it on one of our very first episodes. We normally ask it at the end, but we're going backwards with this one.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all
right.
So
I'm used to confusion.
So we got another question. We got another question from your boy Christian Norman and Phil Norman. Me and you know them pretty good.
Yeah, I happen to know those guys.
All right. So the question is, are you for or against eggnog?
Well, I don't drink anymore, but back in the day, it was pretty good with rum.
That's
so, but now I have no use for it. So,
yeah. So, like a lot of these questions, just sorry, Norman Brothers. Sorry, Norman Brothers. But let's talk a little bit about. Let's start off with some current stuff with V2 Vids. That has definitely gained a lot of traction over the last 2 years that you've been doing it, year and a half. I'm not too sure. You're doing it last year on the tour and this year. How did that all come about? Did you just one day like, I want to start YouTube? I want to show what goes on behind the scenes. What was the kind of idea behind it all?
Yeah, I was definitely, I travel a lot, as everybody knows, and riding up and down the road, watching, I log so many YouTube hours watching YouTube going up and down the road, and I thought to myself, I was like, you know what, we're pulling a trailer full of chaos right now, and I bet a lot of people would want to watch what we do, and, I just kept brainstorming, and I really looked into the cameras that I wanted, and all of a sudden I just put it together. Went to Best Buy, dropped like $3,000 in cameras, equipment, laptops, everything. My wife was going crazy. She didn't know what I was doing. And I said, hear me out. This is going to be great. And Bristol, Tennessee in 2018, in October, I believe it was the first show I ever filmed. And then I put it up December of 2018, and we've been going strong ever since.
So when you come up with material, is it you plan ahead or is it really on the fly?
I've got the hang of it now, but when I first started, I really didn't know what I was going to film, so I filmed a lot of stuff. But then when you get to the editing room, you realize how much you don't use. So I kind of film what I think the crowd needs to know about. What I want them to get the gist of the day. It's like when you read the summary of a book. You just want to read the summary, figure out exactly what happened, and then that's basically what YouTube is. So they don't have to go on every step of the journey, but I want to take them on the journey.
See, one thing that I think is very unique with what you do, you show like the ups and the downs. There's sometimes where people just show like the good moments. You were showing a lot of the down moments when you're having issues with your steering that year, and like just even the high moments. Like, is that sometimes hard to film when you're just at the end of your wits? You're just like, man, this truck's pissing me off. Things are not going good. I don't want to pick up the camera. Do you have to will yourself sometimes to pick up the camera and be very transparent of what's going on?
Oh, absolutely. We're all the same. People, sometimes you don't want to work. Sometimes you don't feel like it. There's some shows I don't even want to pick the camera up, but I do because I know the fans appreciate it so much, and that's what really keeps me going. But I do enjoy doing it. But if I do get really pissed off if my truck breaks and I got to go back to the pits, I have to cool down a little bit before I pick that camera up. But I definitely want to show everybody every side of it. That's what they want, and that's what they're going to get out of my channel.
Also, I think it's also pretty cool. To me, it's pretty cool seeing variations just outside your channel. Kayla Miguez has one. Now Ryan Anderson has one, and it seems like now you got everyone in the industry is now branching off. Is it now? Are you still focusing on? Obviously, you're doing your own thing. I'm just saying it's pretty cool how you have all these drivers, but you guys are kind of doing your own individual thing.
Yeah, it's great that other people are getting involved on YouTube. It's such a great platform to grow our industry and our sport and the personal side of it, which fans don't usually get. The Andersons, they do a lot of crazy shenanigans down there in North Carolina. They have a lot of people to work with on camera, and I think their videos are great. My wife actually likes watching their videos. So, the Swansons are doing a great job on theirs. Obviously it's tough right now, with everything happening and no shows. That's why I've totally restructured my channel to go towards RCs. Like, I love RC cars and I have nothing else. So why not, go that direction? And It's but definitely in the future when it gets back to normal and we're doing shows again, I hope there's more people that come forward and want to make YouTube channels, because I think by more people having a channel will definitely help everybody having a channel, if that makes sense.
That's one thing that I've noticed over these last couple of years is the RC stuff within Monster Trucks has gotten like tremendously bigger with Trigger King, and especially with guys backstage at Monster Jam. I also follow Kevin Talbot. He's done some stuff with you in the past. Talk about transitioning your channel to more RC stuff. Has it been a positive growth, or do you find some people have left because you're not doing as much Monster Truck stuff because of this shutdown?
I mean, obviously, every subscriber, doesn't stick around. I mean, I get it. If they just want to see my channel for monster trucks, that's cool. I mean, look at sitcoms. Sitcoms take seasons off, so people will come back. If I get back to monster trucks, I will get my monster truck crowd back. But in the same time, I'm definitely getting positive growth because monster trucks and RCs obviously cross over perfectly, and it's just all about getting the channel bigger, bringing in more of a crowd, more of a family. That's what I pretty much consider my V2 Nation now.
So how are you digging all these challenges? It seems like you're giving shout outs. Some people are giving you shout outs. All these RC challenges that are going on. It seems like you're really enjoying those stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely been fun doing those. Kevin Talbot's been great to me. I owe a lot to Kevin Talbot for getting my channel a big boost and getting it started. When I really was in a small channel, he really gave me shout outs. A couple hundred people would come my way. So big thanks to Kevin Talbot for that. And, collaborating with Roman Atwood last year, that was great. So really been fortunate with the channel of how much growth we've had in the last year and a half.
And I bet that experience with Roman Atwood was awesome. I remember I watched that the police car crush back in the day.
Yep.
I'm a subscriber to Roman. I love his content, and I remember I was like, wait a second, wait, what? When that all happened, the live video,
Yeah.
how did all that come about? Because that was something kind of big at the time, and I felt like after that was kind of probably what kind of was like, okay, with you, like I want to start doing a little bit of YouTube because of this.
Well, really, after I did that, well, first off, it's all started. I had no idea who Roman Atwood was. I'd never seen any of his videos or anything. It was actually Marty Garza's youngest daughter really followed him, and just so happened she shot him a message one day saying, "Hey, my dad has a monster truck. Would you be interested in using it in a prank or something, or of that nature?" And he was all about it. So his 13-year-old daughter got us connected with Roman Atwood. Went to his house. I mean, that video where we crushed the cop car, we actually live streamed. At the end of the live stream, there was 1.2 million people watching live, and that was crazy. And the video has now been viewed about 14 million views. So that was 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago.
So how did you get connected with the RC video guy from England? I just want to know the story about that because I know you guys did a collaboration also.
Yeah, Kevin Talbot, he's huge. He's one of the biggest RC channels now on YouTube. He was actually at World Finals when I won the Young Guns. He was at World Finals in 2014, 2015, and 2016. I never met him, and he just seen my channel when I started my channel. He just happened to come across it. He's a huge monster truck fan. He actually has a CRD chassis sitting in his garage. He wants to build his own monster truck. So we just him and I have became great friends. And then last year when I went to Cardiff, Wales to drive Tim Mente's truck, we met up and we went around in Cardiff, hit up some skate parks and bashed, and we've just been great friends ever since. And looking forward to working with him more.
So let's get into your career a little bit. A lot of people, know you driving Overkill Evolution. You're obviously, the son of legendary driver Mike Vaters of Black Stallion. But a lot of people don't really know much about your freestyle motocross career. I didn't know much about you were doing freestyle motocross until I started watching some of the V2 Vid stuff. How did you get involved in freestyle motocross at that one point?
Well, I actually rode dirt bikes ever since I was 4 years old. And I guess in the late 90s is when freestyle motocross really started getting on the scene. And I watched all the Krusty Demons of Dirt videos and just fell in love with freestyle, and, always looked up to Travis Pastrana. And I just seen it on TV. So I was like 12 years old, and I seen it on TV, and I said, I can do this. I want to do this. And I got older and got bigger. I started getting on bigger bikes. And then 2003, I built my first freestyle ramp. I was 15 years old. and started hitting the freestyle ramp in 2003. In 2004, I started riding FMX professionally at 16, and then I did pro freestyle motocross for 9 years and retired in 2013, and then completely transitioned into the monster truck world.
Now, so I mean, I'm wondering freestyle motocross because everyone always has a wake up call moment. I guess they would say. Uh, you know, a lot of the motorcycle guys normally say they go to like a monster truck or a rally car because they have a cage inside. Did you ever had one of those calls where you were like, "Man, this is a little bit too much"?
I didn't catch you at the end there. One of those calls.
One of those calls you had, you're thinking a little bit too much.
Well, yeah, definitely. That's why I did cross into monster trucks full time, is because I was actually wrecking my dirt bike and I was sliding across pavement. And while I was sliding across the pavement, I actually had this idea, like I'm done with this, as I was sliding. So the next week was the next week was my last show. I did my last show, and I just I dropped my hat, and that was it. That was all I wanted to do with the sport. And then the roll cage definitely looks a lot better. I can mess up and I can still walk away, and it was just I had no future in freestyle and I knew it, so that was why I said, let's just do monster trucks. And we built Overkill the following year and went to the top of the sport with it, and it was definitely the better decision.
So I remember when Damon Bradshaw got in the sport, a lot of people were saying, the transition from motocross to driving a monster truck, brake checking in the air, it was, somewhat similar. Did you find any, similarities that kind of helped you transition to the seat of a monster truck easier at the time?
It really transitioned well. I mean, some drivers, they have tested some freestyle motocross riders at Paxton. People have tested before, and some didn't pan out. So it's not necessarily just because you can do dirt bikes means you can drive a monster truck. I think driving is just something you naturally have to have in you, to be at the top level. And but it did cross over easy, and I really, really looked up to Damon Bradshaw because before Damon started brake checking, I mean, I asked my dad, because I was doing dirt bikes at the time, I said, if your nose high, why don't you just tap the brakes a little bit and see if it'll level out? And sure enough, there in 2008, Damon Bradshaw came on the scene and really started doing that, and him and Adam just started changing the game, and it was awesome. I was so happy to see that, and definitely give it to Damon for changing the sport like he did.
Now, I guess let's go with before the pandemic happened. This season, following your vids, it seemed like a little bit from the 2019 season. It seemed like the Gremlins was still catching up with you.
Yeah, this year sucked. But I mean, honestly, like a bad day of monster trucks is still, the best day of a regular job, I guess you could say. So, I mean, yeah, I'm still fortunate to be out there, but man, I really just wanted to go into 2020. I wanted to grow my YouTube channel. I mean, it's still growing. I can't complain about that, but I just wanted to be so far ahead this year with 2020. I wanted to make this year a turning point, and the season just wasn't, going our way. I wanted to do good in points. We had the 2-wheel skills locked down. The truck wouldn't let me compete in racing or freestyle. It would always just shut me down. But it's mechanics, you can't really complain about it too much. It just is what it is.
So, with the last 2 seasons not really turning out your way, once everything picks back up, even into 2021, are you looking at completely revamping your truck, like new chassis? Like, are you going to be looking at ways to, get past those Gremlins and get back to that top form?
The truck really just needs to be driven more. That was the problem, stadium shows. I mean, summer shows, we have show after show after show. I have so much more seat time in the summer months than I do in the winter months. So the chassis is fine. I mean, we just repowder coated the chassis. We fixed a few little cracks here and there, but that chassis is ready to go, ready to rock and roll for another 3 or 4 years for sure. I would like to get back to Maryland. Right now I'm in Canada. Once everything kind of settles down, I'm going to go back to Maryland. And if there's no shows, whatever, I'm going to get the truck out. I want to do some shock testing. I want to get it dialed in for when we go back to business. It's going to be ready to rock and roll for sure.
I know you did some big changes to your shock package. You guys eliminated your coil overs, it looks like. You went to the same shock package as Matt Cody, right? Or yours is just a tad bit different?
No, Matt's and I's are pretty much similar. Our valving and shims and things like that are slightly different because our chassis are different weights. Things like that make big differences of how you valve them. Every truck has its own personality, but basically the same setup for sure.
Now, one cool moment that I loved in your V2 vid stuff, it was Bloomsburg doing the jump over your dad's truck. I believe it was 20 years to the day. Talk about
Yeah,
that moment.
almost to the hour. It was crazy.
Talk about that. That must have been a very emotional experience doing something that your dad did, and you're recreating it, doing it better and bigger. What was that like?
Yeah, it was. I was 11 years old, sitting in the grandstands at Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, in 1999 when he did that jump over Andy Hoffman's truck, and it was so cool. Watching that as a little kid happen, and then I did get emotional going out the day we were setting the ramp up and like really shaping the ramp and getting an idea of what I wanted. I was kind of choking up a little bit because it was, I don't know, some kind of energy out there. But luckily we were able to pull it off. I actually did that jump with a broken front differential. It was still pulling a little bit, but it was on its last leg, and it was knocking. It sounded terrible. I was kind of nervous, but we got over him.
Man, that's yeah, and now going back to your vids that's coming up. You've been doing some cool projects with the RC stuff about the big ramp. You made a pretty cool track. Is it now going to be a little? How's that RC track turning up for you?
I got my RC tracks right out here. That was just have some fun. I like to find content to make videos about. That was one chapter, making the track. I was just filming at my cousin-in-law's today. He has a big farm, and we were out in the farm field, and I hit the ramp with my Creighton 6S wide open. That's interesting. So you guys are going to see that video tomorrow. And I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying the RC stuff because it's letting me to experiment outside of monster trucks. Like, how can I make myself popular without monster trucks? Me just not people knowing me for monster trucks, but now it's just me being me. People are coming in not knowing who I am and really enjoying my content. So that makes me happy that I can be somebody outside of monster trucks.
YouTube is a very interesting platform. There's a lot of people that have been able to be very successful. Guys like Logan Paul and others like Roman, and you've grown very fast in such a short time. What are you wanting still to do with your channel? Are you looking at sky's the limit, or are you wanting to kind of build it slowly as time goes on?
The sky's the limit with YouTube for sure. You never know how big you can get, but I want to build a good, solid platform, like you said, step by step. Build a good foundation, build a great fan base, that are going to be there for you, and give them a reason to be there for you. Also, I don't want to go viral, get a 10 million view hit, and then people just forget about you 2 months later. I don't want to be anything like that. I want to climb the ladder. I want to earn my rankings to be at the top level of whatever, that is.
So now with that going on, and you have a platform or a fan base, is there a point in maybe the platform where you can try something out and see if it works? Okay, if it's not, we'll just throw it away.
Are you talking about, like, let's say I'm doing RCs right now and I want to take a junk car and run it through the field? Is that what you mean?
Or two
different types of videos.
Like ride your motorcycle or something like that. Yeah,
well,
yeah, I'm gonna go on a motorcycle ride or something.
See, what I'm learning is a YouTube channel is kind of like a freight train. You can't just stop it. I mean, you can stop it. You can stop doing videos, but it takes time. Like, to get it going, it takes time. Let's say, okay, now monster trucks, that track has stopped. Now I got RCs over here. I can't just say, okay, RC channel. My views went down. My channel, my analytics went down for a while, and now they're finally climbing back up because I'm slowly turning into this RC world. It just didn't jump in there. You got to, it takes time to guide a channel, if that makes sense to you.
I look at a lot of, RC YouTubers like RC Sparks. He's out here in Alberta, and his content's awesome. and some of the stuff that you've been doing, like the one recent video is explaining, how do you do the moonwalks. I loved that video because that actually helps me with the virtual world, learning how to do moonwalks, doing it that way, because that could be very tricky.
I'm glad I could help you.
But like, talk about that. Let's talk about the moonwalks. How, like, is that's got to be tricky. Watching the video, you were explaining it that, but like doing it in a real truck, 10,000 pounds, it must get tricky at times being able to hold it right at that balance point.
Well, I've kind of always had balance, like coming from the dirt bikes. I can ride slow wheelies on dirt bikes. I did street bike stunt. A lot of people don't know that. I just stunt ride street bikes there in the late 2000s. I rode a little bit, so circle wheelies and things. So balance has always been in my nature. Also, not bragging. I'm not trying to brag, but when I got in it, I kind of felt, when I got up on the nose, it felt natural. Like I didn't feel scared. You got to take time to get used to it. Like it's definitely a different feeling, that balance, because when it does get up on that balance point, it does get intimidating when you do feel like you're going to fall forward. But that's right where you need to be. If you don't have that weightless feeling, that oh no feeling, then you're not gonna ride a moonwalk.
So and then also I was looking forward to maybe seeing you try to talk about the bicycle. I don't know if I think you tried that a few times, didn't you? The bicycle on two wheels.
I used to do I started doing the moonwalks and I stopped doing them, but all of 2018 during the summer I was really riding the bicycles. A lot of people ask me if I'm going to try the bicycle to moonwalk, but I can't because I run an open front differential. I mean, so that's out of the question for me right there.
So we have one question here. Hopefully, we're going to get some more. It's from Mr. Kyle Seasock, aka Bucket.
Hey, what's up, man?
His question is: will Overkill get a new design in the near future?
No. Marty and I have talked about that. It's, I mean, when you don't see Gravedigger going out there changing their design.
See, I'd love to see like an old school retro design myself.
Well, we talked about that, running that for maybe a season or like a summer or something, like an old school Overkill body. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we've talked about that. But really, like we're pretty happy with the scheme on Overkill right now.
We got another one here with Mr. Cameron Miguez. He says, "Has Mike considered interpretive dancing to expand the channel?"
If he's got the money.
Mr. Cameron Miguez. If he, I guess we're not going to see that anytime soon.
I also got to say this quickly. This is not related, but I've seen a few people say it. Impending Doom, heck yeah. I've seen 2 people comment on my shirt, so one of my favorite bands. I had to give those guys a little shout out.
Right on.
So one thing I wanted to ask you about, you were able to do some commentating on the Outlaw Virtual Monster Truck Drags yesterday, and I'm not too sure. Well, because I know Preston, one of your teammates, plays rigs or rods. He's been doing it for a long time. What was your thoughts going into it? It's not you were telling us a little bit earlier. It's hard to get excited, but like, did you come into it with an open mind, or were you kind of like apprehensive?
Well, Preston working on our team, when the first 2 years that he was on our team, or the first 2 years of being on our team, we played rigs or rods a lot. It was me, Matt, and Preston. We would actually sit down and do stadium tour point series. We would do 14 stops. We would keep track of points. Like we would sit down and we'd play for 2 hours. And Matt, Cody, and myself, we were right there. I mean, if I was in my prime, I could have ran with them boys last night, but. Definitely go in. Gaming's cool. I mean, gaming isn't my thing, but I don't down it. It was a great time to watch. I mean, it takes a lot of skill. I mean, look at these Fortnite kids out here making millions of dollars. I mean, it's crazy. So.
Well, I think it's a really cool idea to give some entertainment at least, and it's something unique.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great that everybody found a way to keep entertained by the industry in some way, with all this happening.
Did you ever try to tell Preston to get a Twitch?
To what?
Get him a Twitch? That live gaming online stuff, Twitch? I don't Help me, Brad.
I've never
'cause
heard of it.
Yeah,
I don't even know about that stuff.
Twitch is a website where you can, stream yourself playing games. My brother does it. Go follow him at Sir Nickington. But like guys like Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s on there. Like big name drivers have been, because they did that whole like NASCAR iRacing Invitational, Pro Invitational series, and a lot of the guys were streaming themselves gaming, and they a lot of people can make some good money doing that, which is surprising in this day and age.
Yeah, I mean these new companies, man. That's where the money's going. I mean, look at like going back to that Fortnite stuff. I mean, big companies, big tech companies are putting money into these, competitions.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see that stuff. That's why I was like saying if we could have Preston go ahead and get himself one so he can record all his ROR stuff like that. But it's I try it out. I'm kind of now more the RC guy. It's cool doing virtual stuff, but I don't know. It's pretty cool just seeing what you're controlling, and you can control it in the air, and if you want to full throttle it, and see stuff. Yeah.
Well, I enjoy working on my RCs too. It's kind of a it's stress relieving, just sitting there for a couple hours at a time, wrenching on an RC car and listening to music. I really enjoy it. It's a way to get away from the world.
How many RCs are you up to now, and what all do you have now?
I think I'm at 8. I have 2 X Maxes. I have my UDR. I have a Creighton 6S. I have my SMT10. I have a TRX4. I have a Stampede. I have my Slash. Yeah, that's 8.
I need to get myself
Super Rock Ray. Super Rock Ray. Did I say Super Rock Ray? I got a Super Rock Ray.
Yeah.
So with the SMT10, did you use the builder's kit, and how easy was that to put together, or did you get like an SMT already put together and you just put the Bigfoot body on it?
No, Horizon Hobby hooked me up with the SMT builder's kit. They sent me, because I have a lot of Traxxas stuff, and I was having a picture on the Instagram, and they said, hey, try our product, and they hooked me up with the Creighton 6S, and shout out to those guys for hooking me up with that. Thing is sweet. We had it out in the field having fun. But the SMT10, it was a builder's kit. I put Castle. I don't know if you're familiar with the stuff. I put the Castle in it, 4600 kV motor. 4600 kV motor with the Sidewinder 3 ESC, so it's 3S capable, and I just put the Bigfoot body on. I did my own little suspension tweakings, and I put the shocks on the corners, and I sucked the suspension down. So there's actually very minimum suspension on that thing, but it works perfect.
So now, one of my good friends, one of my buddies on Trigger King, John Arnold, he from JB Skill Graphics was the one that met you in Houston, the debut, the X-Max Overkill. Explain about that. I mean, it looks pretty cool. And what was your first initial thoughts of it?
I don't want to wreck that body. I was pretty blown away. I've never seen it. I've never seen an RC body wrap job. Obviously people paint them, but I've never seen somebody do a vinyl wrap on an RC body, and they broke that body out. I was like, yeah, this thing's definitely going in pit party today, and it's hanging on my wall now down in the my RC corner. But they definitely do beautiful work. Go check those guys out, and I think they have a few more wraps coming for me, but definitely beautiful work, and was definitely impressed.
I know a couple of people on Facebook want me to do some RC stuff for them, after I posted that Iron Outlaw idea that I had. But that stuff's tricky. Like, I tried painting an RC body once. That didn't go well. that ended miserably.
Yeah, I'm like a one solid color kind of guy.
Yeah, unless it's a digital format, I can't do anything.
Yeah. One color is good for me.
So we have another question here from Joshua Yoho. He asks, does your dog have his impact guns?
Oh, what's up, Josh? It's been a while, man. Too bad our tour got cut short. I haven't seen our dog. She's in Maryland, but I'm sure she's getting into nonsense. She got kind of famous on the channel as well.
Another one. Yeah. I always loved it when we did the jamborees, and we're working, and then we're helping you out, and then there's the dog holding a hammer, a snap-on hammer,
Oh yeah.
in her mouth. But
Oh yeah.
he's like, oh, thanks, and you try to grab onto it, she ain't gonna let go.
Yeah. Never a dull moment with that dog.
We got another one here, and it's like I said beforehand. He said Nathan Smith. He said, "What's up, Mikey? Hope you're doing well. I got a challenge for you in the future. I guess this is a challenge for the RC competition."
All right, man. We see each other. It's on.
Yeah.
Actually, right here it says you versus me at a show RC bash off. You game.
No, bring your money.
Another one from Mr. Cameron Miguez
Oh,
says,
gosh.
will Junior ever campaign the Black Stallion for an anniversary year?
I don't know. I mean, I've never even thought about that. I haven't ran Black Stallion. I don't know when the last time I ran Black Stallion. 2012. That was the last time I ran that body. I was kind of adopted by the Overkill camp.
Yeah, but that truck is so awesome, and you're an awesome person also. See, buttering up here.
But one thing I wanted to mention is actually the Vaters team ran crushed this decals on their truck last year. Both you and your dad had crushed this decals on your trucks. Thank you for doing that,
guys.
No
problem.
And you've been running Crush the Stigma decal, which I created on your truck. Which thank you for doing that, by the way, as well.
The Mike Thompson.
Yeah. I deal with ADHD and autism, so mental health. It's actually Mental Health Awareness Month, so go talk to your loved ones, make sure they're doing good. That's something that was in my heart when that happened.
Well, especially with all the lockdowns and all the mental health going on right now, it's been wild out there.
Yeah, I hear about that, and also I always thought a very good video. Maybe people not understand the depths of the video was your tire experiment that you had with Marty, and I think it's a huge wake up call that people don't realize how dangerous sometimes these tires are. And I thought that was interesting. And go ahead, sorry.
No, that was definitely the point we were trying. I wasn't going to make that video to get views or anything like that. I was, the whole Scott Bryant, his incident, that was the meaning of doing that video. And, there's a lot of kids that hit you up and say, hey, I want to get involved in the industry. I want to get involved in the industry. What's like, well, let's show you how dangerous it can be, and let's show you how serious it can be. And that's why we made that. Just something so simple as forgetting the air chuck on the tire. That's what can happen. So just to let you know what you're stepping into, and it opens your eyes like, wow, okay, watch your back and watch over your shoulder in this industry. And even look at Scott Bryant, a guy that was always been around the sport, knows what's going on, and it happened to him, and it can happen to anybody, but always be cautious and always, watch your steps.
So one segment that we like to do here with the podcast is rental car stories. It comes from Monster Truck Radio back in the day. Jeff Richards would do this all the time. We've had some good ones with Mike Wine. Mike Wine's one of our favorite guests that we've had. Do you have any funny rental car stories that you can say that's not going to get you blacklisted by any companies?
No, I've never really drove rental cars too much. Plus, if I was driving them, I knew you could get in trouble and it would cost you a lot of money, so I didn't want to do that. It's more or less we've, done a number on a few hotel rooms in the past.
Oh no! Oh no!
That was more of my bad stories, but rental cars was never really my thing.
I could just imagine
Gotcha.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, a lot of hotel stories.
So do you, when you're up north and living in Canada right now, I know when your dad does a lot of the tours, you do a lot of tours with the Chris RL group, and you do a lot of areas in Canada. are you getting a lot of notice also with your YouTube videos through up north there?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everywhere I go, there's a people that come up to me and say, "I love your videos. I love you." It doesn't matter where I am. I mean, some cities are more than others, but usually, I mean, I always have a few people come up to me and say they love the videos, and it kind of gets crazy sometimes now, especially well in the Monster Jam this year. So many fans came up to me and they know everything that's going on with the truck. They know everything that's going on with me on tour. And it's funny when somebody comes up to you, you don't know who they are, but they know everything about you. You know, that's the time it's cool and it's crazy at the same time. But Canada, US, over when I went to Wales, they loved it over there, so it's worldwide.
Actually, I have a question here for you. So I was actually supposed to go to a Chris Orell show in Red Deer, and I wasn't sure of the lineup, and it said on the website that you guys were supposed to be there. Is that true?
Was that this year?
Yeah, it was actually just like this last month.
No, I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, for some
Sometimes Orel just throw names up on there. I don't know.
because like I was like, wait a second, Mikey's gonna be up here? That's sick. Because
Nah.
I was gonna be heading up there that weekend. Like so the one Canadian event you do is I believe in Newfoundland, that
Yeah,
Speedway. That was a cool
St. John's.
video, St. John's. Um, I you know my mom's from Nova Scotia, and East Coasters are a different breed in Canada.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah. They're not Newfies. They're Newfies. They're not Canadians. Well, they're
yeah,
Canadian, but they're they're on their own island up there, and they're great people. I love the people up there. I love going up there for sure.
see, it's funny because like when people meet a newfie, like they have trouble understanding like their accent. Did
Yeah, it's
was that hard for you at first understanding a newfie accent?
yeah. It was in 2011. I was taking freestyle motocross ramps out to St. John's, and I was sitting at the port in Nova Scotia waiting for the boat, and a newfie came up to me and started talking to me, and I didn't know if it was English. I had no idea if it was English or not. And my buddy Ray Post, he's a fellow freestyle motocross rider, and he starts laughing. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, I needed subtitles," but you get the hang of it.
Wait, I bet you, then you probably experienced a drunk newfie because that's a new level right there.
Yeah, we went to George Street back in my rowdier days. We went to George Street, all the bars. I got screeched in there. I don't know if you ever heard
Oh
getting.
yeah.
You know, I've been screeched in, so I had become a honorary Newfoundlander.
Oh man, we're gonna have to. I've been screeched in,
Now
so
it seems like there's different sections of Canada where they have their own different personalities. I guess like Newfoundland, and then obviously Montreal. You know
Oh
that
yeah,
area. Then you have your, the and the West Coast people, and then you have your East
yeah.
Coast, and I
mm,
guess it's kind of typical the same thing with America, where you got your Southern people, and then you got your Wisconsin people when you're trying to understand them, and then you got West and East Coast people. It's just
oh yeah.
interesting.
I mean, all over, definitely. I mean, we go to PEI up there. New Brunswick, all over New Brunswick. But yeah, every place has a little bit of different flavor for sure.
Yeah, I'll say this: Alberta, we're redneck. We're redneck up here. We're basically the Texas of Canada. You know, oil fields, rednecks, big trucks. That's how it is out here. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I'd like to get out there. I would like. My wife and I had talked about taking the train out and just flying back.
oh yeah, hey, if you come out this way, man, you're definitely hit me up, and up here in Grand Prairie, I'll show you a couple of good sites around here.
Yeah, Whistler. I'd like to go to Whistler and check that out. Or was it Jasper? Is it Jasper?
Yep,
Is that it?
Jasper. Yep, It's in Alberta, especially Jasper and Banff. Those are two of
Yeah,
the most gorgeous places. You know, if you make your way up to Calgary, it's just like probably about an hour drive up to Banff. So
yeah. I'd love it. I'd love to go out there. I mean, Newfoundland's beautiful, so I want to see the west side. I want to see the
yeah.
Rockies. I like to ski. I haven't skied in a long time, so I'd like to get back skiing eventually.
See, Whistler in the summer is mountain bike paradise. So that's like I'd love to go there for the mountain bike season.
That might be too dangerous for me. I try to do anything that gets hurt anymore.
That's what they say. With age comes a cage.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a little thing, Marty comes over out of nowhere and says, "Not all Texans are rednecks." Brad.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yes, oh man.
We're calling the Texans now.
One cool thing with
No.
one cool thing with the vids is your friendship with RJ and War Wizard. You guys always are going back and forth every single video I see of you guys. How is that, with you guys?
Yeah, RJ's a great dude. He can definitely wheel that truck. We're always on, each other's cases and trying to push each other when we're at shows together. And it's definitely fun to egg each other on. He takes it really well. I take it well, and it's just it's a great matching. I always enjoy being around other great drivers because it just makes you that much better, and it makes them better, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I hear that. And then also you did mention in your previous videos that you always like the fairs or the small town USA shows that you and Matt Cody and Preston and your dad run together, and I got a feeling that's a little bit of an itch to you. You miss that stuff right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love our summer grind. I love going our back-to-back fairs. I really enjoy the small blue collar. I call them the blue collar shows. It's just they the back the backcountry people that come out to their local fairs. They really enjoy it. They really do enjoy the entertainment. They're not looking for you to destroy your truck. They enjoy you coming out and doing the show that you do for them. And they're very appreciative, and I do enjoy the county fairs. And everybody out there should support your local fair for sure, because it is a big part of your community.
Actually, you did an event with the guy that I actually got to do a show with here in Alberta. I think it's like Steel Cutter, I believe is his name.
Yep.
That dude's a great guy. He did a show up in Bonnyville that I was at, and him and Christian Martinez, two awesome guys. And I saw him on your vids, and I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, Steel rocked the GoPro for me at one of the shows.
So
that's pretty cool.
A segment that I'm gonna start with you. This segment starts now on this episode. We had an episode last week. It was just me chatting with some of my friends like Matt Looker and a couple other people, and so now this is gonna be a thing called Pucker Factor. So he talked about a moment where he was teching out at a show, and something happens like, oh crap, you pucker up. Do you have like a good Pucker Factor moment? Like you were just like, oh crap, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, when I was trying to defend my world title at Vegas in 2016. that was the ultimate.
When you landed on your cage.
Yeah, I had a lot. I was high up in the air. I had a lot of time to think about that, and that was definitely. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what happened. I mean, I fell for a while. It felt like.
It's like everything just goes slow motion in that moment.
Yeah, I definitely knew I was completely upside down. Like that's why I was so upset flying through the air, because I knew how far it rotated. And in hindsight, if my reactions would have been quick enough to feel the bounce, because what it did, it came off of one jump and it didn't settle, so it bounced into the next one, just like getting double bounced on a trampoline. That's what it did to the truck. It just bounced and it kept rotating. I should have just throttled into it. Sorry, my son's in here now. He's making some noise for everybody.
That's all right.
But yeah, 2016 was my worst.
Gotcha. Now I know Brad always talked about this, but if there was a guy past or present, I guess, that you would still like to line up against, who would that be?
Like to race?
Yeah.
Probably Dennis Anderson. Or Damon Bradshaw.
Those would be two really good matchups. So, I wanted to ask this, being a 90s kid, growing up watching Penda, what era of monster trucks do you, prefer the most? Like being a driver in the current era, but like what kind of did you grow up watching? What was the stuff that you were like into?
The Pinda days were really great to watch. I was actually watching some Pinda races last week on YouTube. Dalton Hastings, some of the videos that he put up of the old Pinda days. I was just watching some of them and kind of reminiscing a little bit. I enjoyed watching those days as a kid, watching my mom drive. But looking back, for the industry, it was really tough because you had to qualify to get paid. You had to qualify. You had to be fast. So that was really tough for an independent back then if you didn't have that big corporate money. But I think some of my favorite times is early 2000s. That's when everything really started to transition to what it is now. The big obstacles. They had garbage trucks on the track. They had awesome, crazy tracks, and that's probably my favorite, I would say, because there's so many more possibilities on the tracks back in the mid 2000s than there are today. That's just my opinion.
Now, I'm talking about the past. I know I did an interview with Nick Davis about the Thunder Nationals. When you were a kid, I got a feeling you went to a couple of those shows. How was the vibe there too?
I'm sorry. Oh, the Thunder Nationals.
Yeah,
that was
the vibe. Yeah.
Just it was still kind of in its old school days. It felt natural, like people were out there doing it because they truly enjoyed it. It wasn't necessarily for the money, I guess. I mean, obviously it was jobs for my dad and my mom, but I don't know. It's like everybody that drove still enjoyed it. Like my dad was in his heyday. Chucky Palkin was in his heyday. That was just it was that generation in their heyday, and that was the cool part about it. Now looking back on it.
So if you now, past or present, if you had to get behind the seat of one truck, what truck would you get behind the wheel
of? Fred Schaefer's Pinda Barefoot.
The belly chassis?
Yeah, the one that was like a rocket. That'd be fun to take over. That'd be fun to straight line in. No truck today would even touch that truck.
No. And I thought the odd thing is he ran a clutch in that, which was
strange.
Linko.
Mm-hmm.
Linko, if you watch his old, there was some of the seasons he couldn't get it to stop wheeling. He would go over the first set and the thing would just want to wheelie. The problem was he had his Linko hitting too hard. He didn't have enough clutch slippage. It was hitting too hard and wanting to wheelie. So then they backed the clutch off and it would settle over that first roller. Then after that, he just got fast.
See, he was bad nasty back in the day because he's an old drag racer.
Oh yeah. He was definitely a competitive guy. He had the open face helmet in there, like.
Yeah, back in the day, even I think even was maybe a few years back. Linko's a lot of the guys that ran the Hemi motors, a lot of times ran the Linko transmission, Brad, and like Dan Patrick, even the Hall brothers, they ran Linkos, and it just seemed like it worked perfect with that motor combination.
Yeah, like the Hall brothers, they ran into the 2000s, mid 2000s, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were ran pretty late.
Yeah. But your truck also, which I do enjoy, the truck that you drive in your team is one of the few teams out there that still is true blue oval. A lot of people don't recognize that. Normally they like to put a Ford body on it, but when you take a look at the back of the truck, it's still a Chevy. And I kind of also respect that because, me coming from a team, we run true, Mopar stuff, even though our body's even a Mopar. But I always give you guys respect because you guys are still true blue. Outside of maybe Bigfoot and Gunslinger, there's not a lot of teams that still run big Ford motors with a Ford body truck.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely only a handful of us. Tim Jones. There's not many. And Ford. Sorry, guys, if that's too loud for you.
Oh, no worries.
Can you hear the back? So,
sorry. It's all good.
I get a lot of fans coming up to me saying they appreciate us having a Ford engine. I mean, fans really do take notice of that stuff. They do look under the bedside. They do want to see what engine's in it. So it is cool. I mean, to me, an engine, it's parts. Some people play it needs to be a Chevy, it needs to be a Ford. It's parts. Some things are in different places, but at the end of the day, it still does the same thing.
It's kind of like, back in the day in NHRA, everybody's running a Chrysler-based motor, Keith Black Hemi, even though they're running maybe a Ford body, Dodge body, Toyota body. It's still the basic kind of engine, and it's that's how it was back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I drive a Ford monster truck, but I drive a Cadillac car. But yeah. My dad will never change. He's got the Ford pretty much down pat. It's just this year we had some issues. We just had some gremlins that were following us with the bearing issues, but that happens. Jim Cretin earlier or late last year, he was having issues blowing engines left and right. It just every team goes through it. I don't care what you're running.
Just looking at some...
So he's checking up some stuff right now, but and also, what got you the idea of you just did the idea of the paddle tires? I know you're planning on taking your X-Max through some water. What got you going on that?
There's just looking for content, and I've always wanted to hydroplane. I hydroplaned my Slash 4x4 a couple weeks ago, and then I went out and got the paddle tires for the X-Max, and we're going to be doing some hydroplaning. I got some stuff coming up, so you have to stay tuned for that, but it's going to be interesting.
So we have a few other questions here. One from our YouTube, username JKRC for Life 6711. What shocks do you have on your 8S X-Max?
My X-Max is completely stock besides the speed controller. Everything on my X-Max is completely stock.
Let's see in here if we have any other ones. Cam Migas again. Do you miss Mexico shows?
Yes. I could write a book on those.
I bet those are a riot.
Oh, man, you have no idea. It's just some of the Mexican cities got out of control. We used to do what we would do is we would get to the city. So we would get to the city a couple of days before, and the promoter had 10 flatbeds, so 10 semi-flatbeds, whether it was a rollback or a flatbed or a lowboy, and each truck would get its own trailer, and we would parade through Mexican cities, setting on the flatbeds and just going through these parades. And these weren't like designated parades. The promoter just made them happen. And so I mean, so we're the crazy one. We were 11 o'clock at night. We were in Juarez, Mexico, in the back of a ride truck going down Main Street.
See, I feel like they have no laws there, man.
Oh, there's laws, but it's just it's so wild. And one time, Stephen Thompson and I, he had a display with his truck. We were down there. It was Monclova, Mexico, just outside Monterrey. He had a display, and they forgot to pick us up at this dealership. So we're in Mexico. It's getting dark. They closed the dealership, and we're stranded there. And we were like, where we had to be was 2 miles away. So Stephen and I jumped in his Hurricane Force monster truck, fired it up, and drove it down a four-lane highway, like through traffic lights and everything. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, we were not sitting there. And we drove it down the street. He started stopping at a red light, and I said, Steven, I don't think it matters. Let's just keep rolling.
Oh, my goodness. That'd be a sight to see.
That must...
It got a lot of attention.
I bet you also got you guys probably speak your mind to the guy who forgot to pick you guys up.
Yeah, it was a bit sketchy, so that's why it was either sit there at dark or break the rules and get to safety.
We got another one from Bucket, and he asked if you would have to work a normal job, what would it be?
I don't like to think about that.
See, I can imagine, that the thing with Street Bike Tommy, he doesn't want to hang drywall.
Yeah. Whatever it takes. I got to beat the hell out of RC cars, so be it.
So, do you have any, plans for the channel right now, with the shutdown still happening? Do you have any big plans coming up, anything that we can expect?
I want to try to break a world record Traxxas has a world record. I want to try to beat it. That's all I can say about that. So it's going to be an unofficial world record. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get everything involved, but I just want to beat them straight up. And if I get recognized for it, cool. But if not, I just want to know I beat their record.
Yeah, it's also do you get messages and stuff like that from fans about any ideas with with your RC trucks?
Everybody always leaves me comments. You should do this or you should do that. You should do this, and I take in consideration what some people say, what they would like to see, and other than that, I really don't think about it too much. I come up with some ideas, but I like to have fun. There was a bit there for a while I was taking it too serious. I was too worried about it, and then I just remembered, you know what? It's all about having fun. That's why I started it.
We have one question here, and we're starting to wind down here. We have one question here from Mackenzie Ray. Would you like to at least have one race against your mom?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be a cool race. I mean, and it's a different world these days. She never really did the freestyle stuff, but she was a tough racer. She could cut a mean light.
I feel like there'd be some mind games in that one.
Yeah, it would definitely be interesting.
So, actually, talking about the tire video that you did, one guy, Ed here, said, "How stressful were you waiting for that old tire to blow up?"
What's up, Ed? Good to hear from you, buddy. It was we aired that thing for a long time. I mean, we aired it for 40 minutes actually, and we were sitting in our garage, and we just kept looking out, kept getting taller, and it almost seemed like it wasn't going to work. We kept going up into our compressor shed, kept turning the valve in on the compressor to give it more pressure, and then when we were at least expecting it, that's when it blew up. And the instant that it blew up, we all looked at each other and regretted doing it. It was that violent. It changed the atmosphere in the garage when it went. Like, everything shook in the garage, and we looked out, it disappeared. So you see us diving around, where'd it go? We thought it went up in the air. I mean, 800 pounds just disappearing like that, it gets scary. So our minds, it's in the air. So we go run around trying to hide under the trucks, and it ended up just going down over the hill.
I can imagine, like, you just hear that thing go off and you're just like, where did it go?
Well, we didn't see it. Like, we just kind of caught it out of the corner of our eyes, and it was gone. It was just a big, just a big cloud of moisture, and the tire was gone.
So it was an old dry rotted tire, correct?
The outside was dry rotted, but after it blew up, the more we started looking at the rubber inside, it was still pretty healthy on the inside. I'm not saying you should ever trust a dry rotted tire or anything like that, but it still had some life inside of it. That's why it was so tough.
So we have probably about 2 or 3 more questions here before we end this thing. We got one from YouTube, V2 Vids Fan. Did you have any funny moments in Quincy, Illinois, or Indy?
Indy? Indy was cool because I did the a gender reveal for my one buddy, Trailer Trash RC. He gave me 2 right before I went into my nose wheelie. He wanted to do a gender reveal, so he gave me 2 of those pool things where the fire comes out and like either pink or blue smoke. So I'm setting up on the nose wheelie pad right before I dropped in for a nose wheelie, and I was sitting in my truck and I'm yanking off these firework things in my race seat, and I'm like throwing them down on the ground so the pink smoke would come out. Then I dropped into a nose wheelie. So that was fun. That was funny.
Got a comment from
good old Jerry Richmond here.
Yeah.
He said, "What's up, boy? Hope is well," from Jerry Richmond.
Hey Jerry, good to hear from you, buddy. We missed you down there in Tampa to help to push the tires in the trailer.
So as we wind this down, is there any thing that you'd like to say to anybody watching? The longtime supporters of V2 Vids, or just you as a driver?
Guys, I just appreciate all the support for the YouTube channel. I mean, everybody that's viewing it and supporting my channel through these tough times, and when we don't have monster trucks, I just have just so thankful. That's all I can say about that, is just them not completely ditching me because I don't have monster trucks, but still staying there to be there for me, and I appreciate all those fans.
Yeah, thank you for doing what you're doing, also. And it's pretty fun enjoying watching what's going on. And Jerry Richmond says I'm too old.
Scott Hess was pushing tires in. Come on, man. Come on.
You know, and, we just want to thank you for coming on and doing this with us. We've had you on the audio version a while back, and it's good to do this version. We're gonna have to definitely have you back on, again,
Yeah.
and we will always be supporting V2 Vids and whatever you do. Is there any merch or any social media fans can find you on?
I have my Instagram at Mikey Vaters, Mikey_Vaters. That's just my Instagram. I don't take it too serious. It's just to keep in touch with some friends and have some fun on there. But really, merch, when we get back things rolling with the monsters and everything gets back to life, I'm going to start pushing merch. And I wanted merch by now, but everything kind of got in the way. So that's definitely on the list. So I'm looking at the fall for merch. Everybody always asks me for V2 Vid stickers and things like that. And we're going to get it, guys.
All right. I mean, talking about that, we have merch also for us. That's for sale too, and 6B Apparel also is giving us a shout out for crew shirts and stuff like that. And also, we've been pushing Marty's book too. If anything, Mikey, have you took a look at Marty's book? And if anything, what would you say to people that are not quite yet wanting to get the book yet?
I know Marty put many years of putting that book together. It is a very, very impressive book. If you want to know the A to Z of monster trucks, definitely buy that book. The pictures in it, the stories of it, it's definitely something you want to look into, and you won't be disappointed. Everybody that's bought it so far has loved it, and he's put his heart and soul into that book. So definitely give it a look.
I know I'm definitely gonna be picking it up on this next payday. I need something new to read, so I want to, check that out. And again, thank you for
Absolutely.
coming on. Thank you for coming on. It's been awesome. Thank you for taking an hour or two out of your time for hanging with us, and we can't wait to see what you're going to be doing with V2 Vids in the future.
No problem. I got one coming up tomorrow, guys. So check in for that, and thanks for having me. I would be more than happy to come back on and hang out with you guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Cheech. You're going to end it.
I was saying thank you, fans. Once again, Joey Sylvester of High Octane Coffee. Jason and Fred from J Concepts. You help us out. Also Greg Horizon, he helps me out, helps Mikey out. And Nick Davis from Back Channel Productions. He does a lot of the videos for when you do your blue collar tour, Mikey. He's somehow always there. So, and also 6B Apparel, and also, Marty Garza. And once again, fans, thank you for being on. I will release next week's episode. It's I don't know if it's big. It could be just average Joe. It could be someone else. But we'll find out here in the next couple of days. So,
Confidence, man. Confidence.
I think I'm just gonna pick a bum out of the street. I'm gonna find a homeless guy in Champaign, Illinois. Gonna bring him on. So that's gonna be next week's episode, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go on. It's gonna be. I could get shot in live Facebook television. So, or someone, I don't know, but yeah, I'm just keeping it a secret. I know who's gonna be on next week, but I'm just trying to be a little teaser here. But once again, thank you, Mikey, for doing what you're doing, and I hope I'll see you down the road if we ever actually have any shows.
We will.
Because right now our trucks are dusting away.
Yeah, mine hasn't left the trailer. I haven't seen my truck in 3 months.
Oh. Where were you heading to on the day that we get the call? Was it Detroit?
We got done doing Atlanta, so we had 3 weeks off, and I came here to Canada, spend time with my family, and then I was going to fly to Vegas for March 20th, and about a week before everything started going down, and I kept telling my dad, I think they're going to close the border down. And I said, I don't feel comfortable. I don't know what's going to happen. And sure enough, they started canceling shows. And luckily, I was up here with my family when all that started happening. So I'm going to stay here with them until I know everything's pretty much settled.
So off the record is what's going on there right now. I know some states are opening back up. Some states are doing a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 type deal. I know racing's coming back. NASCAR yesterday just did their race in Darlington. Dirt tracks are doing races, but with no fans. How is it up in Canada for both of you guys right now for what's going on?
Canada hasn't been too bad. They're pretty. I mean, they're still pretty strict on some things, like no big gatherings, but it's everybody's kind of getting back to life. You see people out going for walks, people, getting in small groups and kind of getting together, finally seeing their family members again. But it's definitely going to open back up pretty quick up here.
I know for here in Alberta, we're on stage 1 of reopening stuff. Barber shops are finally open, so I'm finally able to look like myself. Restaurants are up to 50% capacity, so things are back going on. So, but don't want to take any more of your time. So, again, thank you all, thank you, Mikey. And as we always say on Crush This, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up, everybody. Peace.
See y'all later.
Bye bye.
And